So, what are the career options which are available in psychology degree? Can I work in fields other than counseling or therapy with a psychology degree? And Swati, please.
Good news. Lots of career options available. And after graduation in psychology, you don't just have to stick to psychology, but you can work in any health related profession. You can do work as a social worker, you can work in management, you can do your MBA after psychology in HR, for example, marketing, advertising. You can work in the field of education, like, being an assistant professor. I was an assistant professor myself, UGC cadre assistant professor. So definitely you have a lot of scope in this field. So, if you want to pursue a career in psychology, the first thing that you need to do is a graduation in it and then a master's in psychology. And there are different kinds of specializations besides just therapy and counseling in psychology. So, let's have a look at those. The first one is clinical, very popular in India and abroad. This is connected to how people have disorders. So, assessing people having disorders and also treating them involves clinical psychology. So, we are talking about abnormalities. Counseling is, of course, Next is industrial HR or military psychology. So even defense forces in India are recruiting psychologists. The DRDO, for example, it recruits psychologists. In HR departments in various companies in India, if you have a psychology background and you have an HR degree, you have an upper edge. Okay. With industrial psychology, you can also do research, you can teach in universities and colleges, you can become a coach, a mentor, and so on. Forensic psychology is now gaining a lot of popularity in India. For example, Gandhinagar University in Gujarat is considered one of the best in India for forensic psychology. You can work with the Department of Forensic Sciences as a psychologist. You can analyze people. Okay, you can be a very important source of testimony in the court, right? So definitely, this is an upcoming field. Educational psychology, so you can work in schools, colleges, universities, international schools, and you could be involved in teaching or in educational administration, educational management. You can even create your own educational technology, by the way. Today's times we require even learning management systems, so you can design that having a psychology background. Health psychology, nowadays a lot of health problems are increasing. Hospitals and clinics require health psychologists to help people improve their health. For example, a lot of diabetes cases are increasing in India, hypertension cases are increasing, so they will recruit psychologists to help people deal with these problems in a most helpful manner. And social psychology involves understanding, community dynamics, group dynamics. It involves how people interact with each other. Mass psychology is involved. So a lot of research based work goes on in social psychology. Plus we can give a lot of recommendations for policy planning, etc., even at the topmost level in the government.
Can you talk more about clinical psychology? Can you please highlight it? I was expecting this. That's the reason I kind of went back to the slide. So a little bit
Clinic-
more on clinical psychology.
Sure, sure. So, clinical psychology is a very, very important discipline. As of now, hospitals in India, clinics where psychiatric wards are involved or psychiatric departments are involved, they all hire clinical psychologists. To become a clinical psychologist, you firstly need to have a master's and an MPhil. You also need RCI certification for it. You need to be recognized so that you can work as a clinical psychologist in India. Okay, because a lot of other people have tried to enter into this field, but it doesn't work out. Clinical psychologists are properly trained with scientific methodology. They know how to assess a client, they know how to treat them using cognitive behavior therapy, for example, right? So all of these things are definitely involved in clinical work. And also they do research, they teach, they can start their own clinic, by the way. They can practice as hypnotherapists, as cognitive behavior therapists. So clinical psychology has a lot of scope in India, definitely. And when it comes to forensic psychology, see, there are different institutes. You will have to really find out. You can easily find these things on Google as well. As of now, what I've said is Gandhinagar University in Gujarat is considered one of the best. Department of Forensic Sciences also have their own courses connected to forensic psychology, which you can take up. If you work as a forensic psychologist, then definitely you can do a lot of psychometric assessment of the client. You can do polygraphs or lie detectors on people. You can do something like, for example, narco analysis. So wherein the person is telling the truth, which otherwise they are hiding, right? So these are things you can do as a psychologist, and it's a very interesting profession. One of my ex students, Krupa Nishar, had done her masters in forensic psychology, and she also is working currently in this field in India. In fact, she had come on one of the television series also as a psychologist, as an expert. So there's a lot of scope for this field currently in India, and it's growing, it's on the rise. Okay, but you definitely have to do your own search. When it comes to military psychology, definitely you need to have a background in military psychology or industrial psychology, organizational psychology, so you can use that background up for that reason. Absolutely has a vast scope, and it is going to increase with each day. So what you need to do is, you can, after your graduation in psychology, work for a company, or you may practice as a professional. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're doing a job. And if you are doing a job, you can do a job in NGOs, hospitals, clinics, schools, colleges, international schools as well, in the defense forces, rehabilitation centers, research centers, etc. So there's a lot of scope for you to do your job. But if you want to do your private practice also, many psychologists do that. And they could work part time as psychologists in different places also, all throughout the week. So this is not necessarily a desk job based model in psychology. Okay, and if you want to know more information about careers related to psychology, or even other careers you want to explore, please visit this website of the Ministry of Labor called National Career Service. I've given this website's link also here. Okay.